I'm John Mickelson, serving 3 churches, Columbus, Silver Creek, and Fairview, an open country church. And my question, Dr. Schumacher, is, given the distrust in a technological society for thinking that metaphysical or philosophical answers really are answers, or they consider these are an intrusion into the God of economics, how do we go about changing those values, changing the mindset that's prevalent?
And people realize that economics is a kind of form of brain damage. It's just not true that the only thing we're interested in is money. It's just not true. And so it is loosening up. Now, if we can get help from theology, so much the better. I think, if I may say so, that the theologians have let us down also. They thought, for instance, the only source of wisdom is physics, and therefore they must adjust their theology to the latest finding of nuclear physics, atomic physics. Whereas physics represents the lowest level of the universe, namely inanimate matter. And, and theology ought to be interested in the highest visible level of the universe, which is human nature, and the actual human requirements. But all this, I see, is coming back again. This wasteland period of the last 350 years, where spirituality, what I call the vertical dimension, was totally denied. That denial is breaking down now, and so people are experimenting. So on this score, I see a rejuvenation, which happens to a large extent outside the churches, but that doesn't matter. It'll soon be inside the churches as well. And there is a strange convergence, because now any thoughtful businessman or thoughtful economist who really understands the objective situation, he will actually give the same advice to his fellow men, like, no, don't exaggerate your expectations. Try and adopt a simpler lifestyle. There are going to be great pressures. Conservation. All this, which used to be the privilege of ethical and saintly teachers to say, and nobody listened. You see, all this will increasingly be said by hard-nosed businessmen and economists. So these two things converge. And then gradually you'll find values are changing. I understand that in this society there's really a quite sizable movement now, embracing many millions of people who adopt with open eyes sort of voluntary simplicity. Voluntary simplicity. And they've experienced this not as lowering their standard of living, all these tedious words. They say, let's leave this clutter, throw it away, and get out of the treadmill, out of the rat race, to make a bigger and bigger income, to have more and more consumption that doesn't do me any good. Let's liberate myself. And these are not old-fashioned Puritans who suffer while they live simply. No, you see it in their eyes. They enjoy it. They feel liberated. And that's the wave of the future, I'm sure. Not by preaching, but they discover it. They discover it that they're much freer. If you can live on $10,000, a family can live on $10,000 instead of $20,000, then the breadwinner or winners have a far bigger choice of jobs. Or they can take it a bit easy. The idea that the purpose of humanity is to maximize their consumption is going out of the window, both from the side of theology and the side of economics.